AMANN Group. Intelligent threads.
Jackets, shoes, tents, textiles that we wear and use outside often require waterproof seams. Water-repellent sewing threads take care of that. They are also called sewing threads with a WR finish. Especially functional garments need to be waterproof. This is usually achieved by taping the seams. However, taping is very costly and time-consuming. Further, it often changes the appearance of the garment. But people also expect some weather protection from normal jackets and coats. These garments do not have to be provided with waterproof seams, but they are often impregnated in order to offer a better water resistance. However, if standard sewing threads are used, the jacket becomes moist on the inside in the seam area even if impregnated. The reason for this is the so-called capillary or wicking effect. The sewing thread soaks up the water on the wet exterior of the jacket and transports it inside through the stitch holes. The water still penetrates the inside of the jacket even though the jacket is impregnated and made from a waterproof material. This effect can be prevented through a special finish of the sewing thread. The WR finish of AMANN sewing threads significantly prevents the transportation of moisture, sometimes for several hours. But the sewing thread alone is only one of many factors. With a special test, AMANN checks the waterproofness of seams on water-repellent materials, which have been sewn with different sewing threads, seam types, and needle sizes. The first seam shows the wicking effect of a sewing thread without a WR finish. While the first seam is already dripping, AMANN's WR finish of the second seam prevents water penetration. In addition to the sewing thread's finish, the needle size plays an important role. The third seam shows a sewing thread with WR finish, which was sewn with a too large needle size. Between the oversized stitch hole and the sewing thread, water is penetrating through and drips off at the stitch hole on the bottom side of the material. A further factor is the coating of the material. The danger of water penetration increases in relation to the smoothness of the surface. Even with the felled seam with WR thread in the test, the water finds its way across the material surface and does not drip off the seam but on the edge of the material. The water-repellent WR finish is resistant to washing and applicable to all AMANN sewing threads. The sewability is not affected at all.